Welcome to The Shift Show with Adriana Bucci. Join me every week to learn all about narcissistic abuse recovery, healing from physical and emotional pain after the abuse, and everything else to do with toxic people and how they affect your physical, emotional, and mental health. And no, you are not the crazy one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Let's get right to it. Hello, welcome to episode number 34 of The Shift Show. This episode is an awesome interview that I had with Tabitha Brooke. She is a podcaster, the host of the Love Me Lab podcast, and she also runs a blog about narcissistic abuse recovery. And we had an awesome conversation about our experiences with narcissistic mothers. And she shared a lot of her story as well as, leaving toxic relationships as well as having a narcissistic mother. So I think this episode is going to help a lot of people and a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So I will let you listen to it. Enjoy. Hey, Tabitha. Thanks for coming on my podcast today.
Hey, well, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Why don't we just get started with you giving the audience an idea of who you are, what you do, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder that myself every day.
And
that's part of this process, right?
It totally is.
Yeah, my name is Tabitha. I go by Tabitha Brooke. I've had a blog on Instagram at Run Gazelle Run for a while, blogging about my life, healing from narcissistic abuse and difficult relationships. Fun stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just started a podcast at Love Me Lab Podcast. That's also on Instagram.
Awesome.
And my podcast is called Love Me Lab.
Nice.
It's all about learning to love ourselves, learning to empower ourselves through self-love.
Amazing.
After narcissistic abuse.
Yes. Self-love is so key.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit of your story of when you discovered what narcissistic abuse was and the fact that you had been affected by it?
Yes, I can. It was definitely a process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do I put this?
It's so hard to start, right?
We never know where to start.
Where's the starting point?
I always knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start when I left my family home. So I left home at 30. I realized there was something kind of clicked in my head when I had been dating my boyfriend, who was the only guy I'd really ever dated. Started at 29, dating him. And it was the only time I felt like my mother wasn't going to sabotage a relationship. And so I decided to just try to go for it. So I was dating this guy, and on my 30th birthday, I was still living at home, and I had to ask to have my curfew extended we could go out.
Oh my gosh.
I think I wanted to stay out till like 11:30 or midnight or something. So I was asking.
Wow.
I remember asking my mom in the kitchen, and she was like, "No, we'll be home at 11:30." And it wasn't, none of it was about making sure I was safe or rules of the house or anything, right? It was about control.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something just kind of clicked in my head that day on my birthday. Like, this is weird. I'm turning 30 and I'm having to get permission. And I know she could change the time on me at any moment. That was the big thing too. Like, I knew that she could be like, "No, you're going to be home at 10." And I would comply.
Wow.
I think that's what bothered me more.
Yeah.
So that I don't know if that sums up what my relationship with my mother was like.
Yeah.
I'm 30
pure
asking
control.
for
Yeah,
pure control. So I've been dating this guy, and he saw a lot of what was happening, and it really upset him. There were times he would look at me and just be like, "You act like someone who's been severely abused." Wow. Like, just the way I would, tremble when I'd see my mother's face or number pop up on my phone or whatever it was. So I eventually so my birthday's in December. I moved out 6 weeks later of my parents' home. It was a big to-do, right? My mom, when I told her, she stopped talking to me. She went a cold, silent treatment, that kind of thing. And so I just kind of there's a lot of financial abuse. So it was difficult for me to think about getting out. But I did it anyway. I didn't know what I was doing. So I found this room to rent in a house and I got out. I actually went to see a psychologist. I got on the little pay scale thing. I was like,
Oh, wow.
I can afford $20.
Yay.
But I wanted to see somebody. I wanted to figure out what I was doing wrong with my relationship with my mother. I wanted to fix that. I didn't like the fact that it was all fucked. Can I say that?
Yes.
Fucked up.
As much as you like.
Felt really bad. I grew up in a very Christian conservative home. My father was an ordained minister. My mother, Bible thumping, gospel singing, former Texas beauty queen.
Oh gosh.
So there was a lot of emphasis on appearance, a lot of emphasis on appearing spiritual and righteousness and all of that, self-righteousness. So I was coming out of that, going into see a psychologist, which psychology was bad, very bad. You don't consult a human being on matters that, God's supposed to take care of, right?
Oh boy.
So I started seeing a psychologist. I ended up marrying the guy I was dating, that the end of that year. So I moved out in February. The end of that, I got married in December, again, close to my birthday. Was seeing this psychologist for a while. And I kept saying, I want to I don't know, this thing happened and what do I do? And he just constantly was saying, you don't need to do anything, Tabitha. And at one point he said, I don't think you realize it, but you're being emotionally abused by your mother. And I was like, no, she's just difficult. She has a hard time letting go. I was in so much denial. So this went on for 3 years where I was in therapy. There was a lot of my mom would shun me for periods of time. I would try to have a relationship with her. We'd try to do stuff, the normal things that happen as you're waking up to this kind of thing. So I'm in therapy and my therapist is telling me how much the situations I'm talking about with my husband are very similar to my relationship with my mother. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. It was a very tumultuous marriage. It was not easy. And I felt like I was constantly reacting. I had been so non-reactive my whole life. And I get married and all of a sudden I feel like I'm a totally different person. I'm just reacting to everything, losing my shit all the time, just exploding. And I'm going into therapy telling on myself. So I did this thing. Where I just went off, and just me going off and losing my shit to me was telling somebody what I really thought. That's what I thought losing my shit was, right?
I used to think losing my shit was the same thing.
Yeah. I'm oh my God, I actually thought I really
lost my shit and I told the truth.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What's wrong with me?
Yes, telling the truth. Yeah. So I Googled one day, how to deal with a difficult mother. This was year 3 into my marriage. So it was 3 years after, or 4 years after I left home. And all this stuff about narcissistic mothers popped up. And for malignant narcissistic mother, she checked everything, all the boxes. I was like, oh. So it just kind of opened up a whole new world to me. We do go down the YouTubing rabbit hole, right? And I was like, this is what it is. This is what it is. And I had started blogging about my life and just telling stories. And I think I was telling you this before. My sister would find my blogs and print them off at the library and then bring them home to my parents because my mom wouldn't allow internet in the house. Because any connection
was
to the
internet
world,
from the devil?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Well, it was a magic porn box for my dad, probably. And for us, it was the danger of having an outside influence, right? If you can talk to other people, there's the potential for waking up.
God forbid.
God forbid. So that was happening, and I didn't know what I was writing. I was just writing the truth of my life, like telling stories from my childhood and stuff like that. And I get this call one day as I'm about to go on a trip. I'm married. I'm a stepmom. Like I've got a real life. I have a business with my husband, and my mom's calling me up to tell me I can't write anymore. Well, we just really don't think that you should be writing about your life. Does your husband approve of this?
Oh.
First it was that tact, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, he like fully supports it. Like you write about fights that you have, and you write about, I do, because that's real life, and people can relate to it.
Exactly. Life's not this like polished like bullshit that we like edit heavily.
No. And then they didn't like the fact that I was telling stories from my childhood. They're like, nobody should know those things that happened. And like, we don't want people to know that. And I'm like, nobody really cares to begin with. They don't know who you are.
Yeah.
But, you know, either way, it happened. And I'm not doing anything. I just told them, like, that's too bad that you feel that way, but I'm not going to stop, essentially.
Good.
So I don't know, she ignored me for like 8 months, like wouldn't talk to me. And I was like, that's enough. I'm not going to live this way. I'm not going to live wondering if I'm ever going to get my mother's approval or affection, or if I'm ever going to be good enough for her to talk to me.
Right.
And still be able to be myself. Like I have to be able to be myself. I have to be able to write my truth, write about my life, live my life. So I recorded a phone call with them because I would always hang up or leave their house and be like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Like, did that really just happen?
Yeah, you start gaslighting yourself.
You do.
Because it's so shocking what they say.
It's very like, shocking.
Yeah. It's like, did that really happen? Or did I make that up while it happened?
Exactly. And I wasn't going to go through that. There was something in me that said, I'm not going to go through that anymore. I need to know right now if this is how it is. I've always felt unloved. I've always felt like a big problem in the family. I've always felt like, just unloved, really, basically. And I said, I need to know once and for all in my mind, I think. And so I called, hit record, and I had it on speaker. My husband was in the right next to me, which they didn't know.
I've done that before so many times.
They had no idea.
Having that witness, like you need that witness.
I know. And they were talking about him like they knew how he thought and what he wanted, because that's what narcissists do, right? They assume that everyone's on their page too. Like everyone's going to think like they do.
Exactly.
So I'll just wrap. Like it took an hour and 40 minutes, but I heard all the things that I knew were true, and it's recorded. We wish you hadn't been born. You've been the reason for all the problems in the family since you were born, and we don't want to talk to you till you come crawling on your hands and knees for our forgiveness for basically who you are.
Oh.
And then God, right? Because they are above God.
Right.
So,
oh my gosh.
It was kind of like, oh, okay, like that's all right.
Yeah.
So I hung up she was in the middle of a rant, like screaming at me. And I told her to go with Jesus. And that was and I hung up. That was the last time I spoke to her. You didn't ask for all that, but that's the process, right? Like,
this is awesome. It's part of the story. And that's the thing with stories about like narcissistic parents. It goes in like so many angles, because like you can't just tell one part of the story, because then all these other like sub things happened that like led up to the thing. And it's just like this, like, I don't know what to call it, like a cyclone of like craziness that ends up happening.
Yeah. It takes,
so thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's definitely a process. And I think that's the important part to know too. Like if you're even wondering, like, is my parent a narcissist? Like I don't know. I hate to say this, but I'm a little skeptical of people who are like, that's like, you're a narcissist. Like, okay, well, I think it's recognizable if you're a healthier person and you're meeting one for the first time and you're like, oh, like this is totally foreign to me. But if it wasn't foreign to you, it takes a while to wake up.
Right. Yeah. Like when you've been through it for like your entire life with parents, like you have radar once you are aware of what narcissists are and you know all the signs to look out for. It's like you can sniff one out from like miles away.
Yes. Yeah. And it is so hard because I mean, even narcissists have their little cronies, right? That like
Hmm.
are in their camp and then because you're surrounded by that as a kid, you think your parents are amazing and
Right.
they're telling you your mom is so amazing. And you're
Right.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
She does good things.
You
Yeah.
didn't see what was happening in the car before we walked in here.
Exactly.
Like, but
You
even
weren't in the
that, you're
house
like,
last night.
even that, you're like, I probably deserve that because my mom
Right.
is so great.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
Exactly. And then you start hating yourself and, you see yourself as just like horrible and you
Yeah.
believe it. And that's the worst part because it's like you just put all this blame on yourself and, like obviously no one's perfect. No one
Yeah.
is
No.
24/7 like the perfect human. But like when it comes to narcissistic abuse, there's really a huge element of us blaming ourselves for the abuse. And really, like, you cannot justify someone being abusive, but a narcissist will literally tell you it's your fault that I behaved like this. It's you did it to yourself. It's you knew that I was going to react like this when you called me out of my abuse or whatever it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess that's my fault too, until you realize, no, like you just were a human having a normal human reaction to abuse.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the interesting thing too. Like I started recognizing phrases like that. My ex-husband would tell me, well, he's now my ex.
Okay.
My husband at the time would say things like that. Well, what
Yeah.
did you think was going to happen
Oh God.
when you brought this up or whatever?
Oh,
It's like, oh,
so he was
okay.
like
So now,
enabling.
yeah, he was like conditioning me, right? To like,
Fucker.
you know what's going to happen if you bring up this issue in our marriage.
Oh my gosh. So he was basically a narcissist too.
I have a really hard time saying that, but I've
Yeah.
had so many people who also know him be like, no, he's a complete narcissist.
Oh no.
I'm like, okay. I have a
Aw.
hard time like diagnosing people, but I
Yeah.
was dealing with things that were very familiar to me
Right.
and I did leave. So
I'm glad you did. I'm proud of you.
thanks. Thank you.
It sucks that happened, but like leaving was probably the best thing you could have done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that go? Like how did you
Yeah.
figure out that he was like maybe a narcissist or, you needed to leave that situation as
My
well?
therapist I'd go into therapy telling on myself, right, for my
Yeah.
bad behavior. And be like, I lost it the other day.
Yeah.
I was throwing my clothes at the wall. Like, I never wanted to hurt, and I just had a lot of energy I wanted
Yeah.
to get out. And I think I was reacting because I was ready for that treatment to be
Yeah.
over in my life. And I was like, I'm not going to take this.
Yeah. Clothes are not really a lethal weapon. So
No, I always hurt myself in the process.
yeah.
Like jammed a knuckle or whatever,
Yeah.
like silly things like that. But I would go in telling on myself and my therapist would be like, you do see how like his behavior in the situation is very much like your mother's. Like, and he was just always like pointing out the connection. And that took me a while too. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember it got to the point I wasn't necessarily suicidal, but I didn't want to live anymore. And
Right.
I felt like I needed to check into a mental health hospital. And I was like, I went into my appointment one day and I was like, so I think I just want to check in somewhere for a while. I really need help. Like, I thought I was losing it. And I would say it like that too, like laughing, right? Or whatever. And he'd be like, I remember saying that one day. I was like, I just really want to check in somewhere. I feel not well. I feel like mentally unwell.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing my mind. And he said, no, what I think you need to do is step outside of your marriage for a little while. Like just step away from it for a little while. And I was like, okay. But I was one of those patients that would just like, I was really good at doing my homework. So I get on Craigslist. I was also being like financially abused in that relationship. I was running a business with somebody that I never had, like, the money wasn't mine.
Oh, so he took everything.
yeah, it was just kind of, and I, you
Awful.
know, my debt took a dump. All like my debt payments took a dump, and my
Right.
credit took a dump, and so it's just kind of like I didn't have a lot of options
Yeah.
because I was actually supporting his children. Like
Oy.
he
Not
wouldn't pay
cool.
the bills. Even his ex-wife was supporting his kids more than he was. Like it
Wow.
was, I didn't respect it, but I also realized later, like that's that's
Yeah.
really messed up.
Yeah.
Like it's really messed up.
It is.
So I found this little place that I borrowed money from a friend and rented this little off-season cottage by Lake Michigan.
Awesome.
So it was nice that I got to be by the water and
Yeah.
that expansive space. And it was also in February. I left February 15, the day after Valentine's
Oh my
Day.
gosh. Isn't it funny how like it always happens like on or after Valentine's Day?
Right? I know, and this time it was me, right?
Yeah. So
It was just when the lease was like, that was the terms of the lease.
Yeah.
And I went no contact with my family in like May
Okay.
of the year before. So this was like, what is that? 7, 8 months or so after I went no contact with my family. So it's kind of like, I was kind of a badass at that time. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like, I can do this.
I'll go in contact with you too. Whatever.
Don't tempt me.
Yep. Good for you.
I felt like I gave a lot of like second chances.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm gonna say this is what I need and give it time for it to change.
Yeah.
Or give this person time to whatever it is. I was always giving people time.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah. But not yourself.
Not myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, shortly after talking to my therapist, I found this little place, and it was a 3-month lease. And I was like, at least it was 3 months. I'll tell everybody I'm going, I'm leaving town to go write for a while because I'm a writer. I'll just go say I'm writing and, getting time for myself.
Right.
Because I don't know. Who wants to say that you think your marriage is
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. It's like you can't just go to people and be like, yeah, my marriage is on the rocks. So I'm just, going away for 3 months just to see what happens.
I think we get that idea from our families, especially if they are narcissistic and they're very worried about appearances. Like, we learn that. That, oh, you don't air your dirty laundry.
Right.
There's a difference between complaining and complaining about everything. Like, if someone's complaining and they actually do something about it, I respect that a lot.
Right.
Like, if you're complaining on social media and you're like, this thing is happening, but if I see that you've made a big change and you've walked away from that situation, I'm like, yes. But if someone's complaining about it 3 years later, I'm like, all right,
you've got some work to do.
Yeah.
You just want to complain.
But I think it's important because it keeps people from actually talking about their issues and being able to work, because a lot of us work through things verbally.
Right.
And it, being able to say, I'm not sure, like, this is what's happening right now. And just be able to, whatever it is, if you're writing, if you're blogging, whatever it is, it's not complaining. It's just real life. And you don't have to hide all of that stuff. And people know that you're in need or you're looking for something, that opens up opportunities for people to be like, hey, I've got a place. You want to stay? It allows people to help you out too.
Exactly.
Because a lot of us are financially crippled and have chronic pain issues and things like that. And we're not doing great.
So true. It is so true. And like, we always fear that judgment of like, oh my God, what are my Facebook acquaintances going to think of me? And then it's like, you know what, if they're going to be judgy, they're not your people. Right. And like people can come through the woodwork and be like, oh my God, like, thank you for sharing this, or here, I know like about this resource that might help you. And it's like, the more we share, the better it is. And whoever's going to judge you for, sharing your life, oh, well, like they weren't your people anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even if it's not public and you're saying to your friends, like, I'm going here to do this thing, or I need to do this thing. Do you know of anything? That's why I'm a big advocate of no contact and just getting out.
Yes.
Like getting out immediately, even if you don't have a plan, because you will think so much more clearly and creatively when you're not living with that person. Like I was ready to check into a mental health. So that was the thing I was getting to. Like as soon as my ex-husband helped me move some of my stuff in there. And it was kind of this thing like, I'm going away for a while. I need some space. I need to see that, like, there were just certain things. Like, we were supposed to have a baby, and he had a vasectomy, and he was supposed to get that reversed. And it was like 4 years later, and wasn't even thinking about it. And I was like, I'm in my 30s. Like, this is not a joke. I don't like, are you fucking with me?
Right?
What are you doing?
Thank God you didn't have a kid with him, though, because
exactly,
that would be a fun custody battle.
No, right? No, I totally agree. It's just those things. It's like,
that's a deal
I'm
breaker.
a person too. That was our plan. This is my life that you're fucking with.
Exactly.
I'm like, it's either,
and if you don't want to have kids, you have that discussion before you get married. Like, if you're not planning on reversing your vasectomy, like, don't get married.
Yeah, and it wasn't a secret.
You're gonna have kids. Yeah.
It wasn't
right? Because
something we didn't talk about.
Exactly. If like you were both on board with not having kids, that's one thing. But like, to be on board with it and then just lie about it, like,
I felt like I was being lied to a lot. Terrible. Actually, I think that was what was making me feel crazy. So I remember, like, he helped me move some of my stuff in. It was the day after Valentine's Day. There was snow on the ground. I was at the lake. He walked out of the cottage. It was already dark, and pulled away. And I just remember it felt like a physical heavy weight just lifted off my shoulders. It just, that was the moment. And there were several of those moments, right? Because it's like, it's a process like everything else. During those 3 months, he would occasionally come visit me, whatever. He was very interested in sex all of a sudden after he hadn't, but like, it was stuff that felt to me, after a while, it started feeling manipulative. And like, so then I moved further away. I went and stayed with my brother in another state.
Oh, wow.
But it was that process.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you don't know what the process is going to look like until you are in it. And, you just have to get started. And wherever that takes you, at least it's taking you somewhere that is away from your abuser.
Exactly. And just taking that first step will lead to the other steps. And you don't have to know the next one.
Exactly.
Because it's always going to be different anyway. Like, you can't plan it out.
So true. It is so true. So how did your healing journey look after all that?
Oh, I met somebody else that was a lot like him. No, actually, a lot of people said that he looked a lot like my ex, which I didn't see, but both tall, really tall people. Totally the opposite in like demeanor and personality. Amazing. But when I got into it, it was like, oh, this is also still really familiar. Like, so that was a 3-year relationship that actually ended a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad it ended.
Me too.
Oh, man.
But during that relationship, I was living with him for the last year of that relationship, and year and a half, maybe year and 5 months, something like that. During that time, I really got into, I was starting to have, because the further away I got from my family relationship, and then getting through my divorce, and then a lot of it was just me hanging on by my fingernails, right? For the last, like, since I left my ex. And as you make those moves, also don't be surprised if panic attacks start coming up, and then a little bit further removed, like flashbacks. Everything that comes along, not everything, but a lot of things that come along are gonna bring up things, or you're gonna be ready for the panic or the flashbacks. That the flashbacks were big ones, because those revealed a lot about my abuse in childhood. And I started seeing myself at certain ages, and seeing my mother's face, and specific things she would say to me that I had forgotten.
Wow.
And that was a time in that relationship. My last relationship was pretty tumultuous. It was emotionally unsafe. I felt physically unsafe at times. He's never laid a hand on me, but there was a lot of just rage and physicality to it. And by that time I had been doing my own work. I was doing meditation and just getting more grounded. And I went through Rolfing as well. And I was working on my chronic pain stuff. So I was in this medium place of like, I think I see through this. I think I understand this behavior and what's happening, and I'm choosing not to engage with it. Doesn't mean it doesn't still affect me and affect me pretty negatively, but I just didn't have a lot of choices either after, I was living with him and all this stuff. So it was just kind of like, all right, I'm going to take care of myself in the best way that I can right now until it's time to move on. And so there was during that time, there was just a lot of panic attack and flashback stuff happening in that year or so.
For sure.
Which I was ready for, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
as ready as you can be.
As ready as you can be.
Yeah.
The meditation really, really helped. It got me in a headspace to not avoid it and to not be scared of it. Like there is panic, right? So panic is rising it comes out of the blue. Like I remember specifically, I was in the shower one time, couldn't breathe, chest was like tight, thought I was having a heart attack. But it was, as it was happening, I was like, I didn't know what triggered it. There wasn't a specific thought or anything that triggered it. So I sat down in the shower and I remember like staring. I was like, I'm going to stare at this feeling. I'm going to stare at the panic. It's a weird thing, visualize staring at it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it got smaller and I realized I calmed down and my heart rate kind of went back to normal. And I was like, oh, it's my mom's birthday today.
Oh, wow.
Like it's stuff like that, like,
wow.
Your body knows things.
Yeah.
You're not even consciously aware.
Body speaks to you. And I love how you decided to stare at it. Right? Like I totally get what you mean. And it's literally like panic, like having a panic attack, having anxiety. Like I went through it myself. It's literally a repressed fear.
Yes.
And it comes up and you can actually, it takes a while to wrap your head around this if you're new to this type of information, but you can actually just observe the feeling and then it actually gets less and less and less and it goes away. And then you realize, you get that clarity of, oh, today was my mom's birthday. That's why this happened. It all makes sense. And your body was just literally screaming at you to just get some kind of repressed emotion out, which you did amazingly. And that's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And it's like, anyone can do it. Yeah. Anyone can do it. And it's weird too, because you think, oh, I'm getting away from these relationships. My life is going to get better. Right. Sometimes it gets a little bit worse before it gets better. It's true. But like in a way that like we can handle it. Like we can do that. And I think a lot of the times we tackle panic and anxiety isn't serving us all that well. And to be able to just observe it and not be afraid of it.
Right.
Is really, really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's that's so awesome.
And now my life is perfect. No, I'm just kidding.
I observed one panic attack and everything's fine. I'm the queen of trauma healing.
No, it was time after time after time. And
go through it over and over and over until
I still have to remind myself to get grounded.
Yeah.
Life changes, your schedule changes. Like we get into routines that are really good for us, and something will change in our life and it changes a little bit. And, then we got to remind ourselves to get back. And it's not this like beating myself, oh, I got to do this thing. It's just, no, this is going to help me right now. And even if I take 5 minutes, because sometimes it feels overwhelming. Like some people meditate for like, an hour and a half or whatever.
That's a lot.
No, like even just breathing exercises that you can have handy. Like the power of the breath is something that I'm really big into, because it's something that doesn't feel tedious. And it's like, I need to breathe anyway. Exactly. And if I do it consciously,
it's true.
I'm going to calm myself down, and then I can observe these things and they won't be as scary, and they're not going to derail my day.
Exactly. I love that. And the power of the breath it's huge, and we don't give it that much credit. But when you actually consciously breathe and you slow down and you just observe the breath, like you start to realize like, oh, okay, I got this. Like I can still breathe throughout this, and that's okay.
I'm wearing this little thing. It's called a Kumosu shift.
Cool.
I don't know if you've seen these,
no,
but my boyfriend got me this. I have an amazing boyfriend now, by the way. Yeah, he's wonderful. It's this little breathing tool. It's like a little metal. It's made of a metal. I don't know what this is. steel, maybe.
Some kind of metal.
But breathe in and then you breathe through the straw, out through the straw, and it slows everything down. And it's actually a breathing technique that's just a practical way of a physical thing of helping. But he's like, I saw this and I thought of you, because I'm always talking about this.
He's a keeper.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
And and so yes, last year I broke up in June of last year, but the relationship had been ending for a couple of months. And it was just that thing of like, okay, I need to pack my bags and actually leave and get my stuff out of the apartment. There was just a lot of stuff going on in that relationship too, with because I was always with men that had kids and had been married before, and there was just a lot of drama with the other side, and it was just bringing up a lot of things that were triggering for me too. So I was like, I think I do need to get out. This isn't really salvageable on any level. So we broke up. I moved out. There's been, I decided to kind of take some time for myself, but take my time for myself in a way of like, I'm going to take time to get to know people. Like I'm going to date. I'm just going to date. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to date a lot of people, observe myself and my feelings and my emotions while I'm with people, make choices in the moment, and just say, yep, this isn't working for me. I don't want to see you again. Like stop being the polite girl, right? Not be rude, but just be honest and say, that was great. Or even if it wasn't, like, nice to meet you. No, I don't think I want to see you again. That kind of thing. Getting in practice of that. And it takes practice.
It does. It does. It totally does. But I'm so glad you did that, because like that helps you like get that confidence to say no, to set boundaries, to decide exactly what you want. And you can't do that without having that experience.
No, you can't. And it was, I got into another kind of relationship. I was exclusively seeing one person for a few months, and it wasn't, like I could just tell like it was fun for this other person, for him, but I also knew like I was catching feelings, and I didn't want to get, I wanted to know where he was. So it actually took a month. I said, so where are you at with all of this? Like, do you want to be exclusive? Like, he's like, well, I'm only seeing you. And I'm like, well, that's not what I mean. I mean, do you want to have a relationship and have it go somewhere? And he's like, let me think on it. So he took like a month. We'd seen her, and I'm like, finally we were hanging out again. I was like, look, you've had time to think about this. Like, what are you thinking? I'm not sure, how much longer I want to wait around for an answer.
Right. Like that's a month is a month. Jesus.
Yeah. And he outright told me, he's like, yeah, because I could tell like he just wasn't wanting to have somebody in his life with his kids in his life. It was just something I was getting a feeling of, and I wanted him to say it, and I wanted to hear it so that I could know, that's great. I've had a great time with you, but I know I want more. Like just knowing what you want to, like, it's okay.
Exactly.
Like it's okay to want those things.
Exactly.
It's not bad. You're not a cool girl. You're not a nice girl, whatever.
Exactly.
And so it's just like, okay, well, thank you for telling me. And I was just like, I just don't think we should see each other anymore.
Perfect.
But I was like, oh, I'm getting faster at this.
That's amazing.
Not years anymore.
Exactly. Right? Like it wastes so much less time. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Me too. I am too, really. Because then like after that, I started dating a lot more people, and I was like, I'm just going to try this out. I'm going to practice it. Exactly. And then I ended up meeting this really amazing guy during quarantine.
Nice. That's awesome.
We had a lot of time to talk.
Exactly. And you knew all the red flags to look out for, and it's all good.
Yeah. And it's like, it's an amazing relationship, and he's a very healthy person, and we work on our stuff together, and he's very involved he's just very involved in like what's healthy here. The way we communicate, all of that. And I know even if this doesn't last, I'm going to be fine too. Like it would make me really sad, but like I'd be fine too. And
amazing.
I think if we get to the point where our relationships aren't our lifeboats anymore, it's also a really great place to be.
Exactly. Just getting that self-love and working on that is the best headspace to be in, and maintaining that throughout a relationship so that, if things don't go the way you want them to go, you can still count on yourself to have your own back.
Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for sharing your story. Do you
Yeah.
have any final words of wisdom for the audience?
Ugh. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's wisdom. I can just say from my own ass backwards falling into an experience.
That's how we get wisdom.
Yeah. Take the step. Take the
Mhm.
step. If you have something urging you inside of you, if you keep having this thought pop up in your head, like, I need to get out of here. I think a lot of us do that. Like, I just need to
Mhm.
get out of here.
Yeah.
And we ignore it and we talk ourselves out of it and we gaslight ourselves.
Right.
Take that step. It doesn't matter. Like, go stay somewhere for a little while. You can always, if it's a real relationship that's supposed to last and
Mhm.
it's healthy, you
Mhm.
can come back to it.
Exactly.
But do the thing that your heart is telling you to do. Take that step. And the next steps are going to reveal themselves to you. The universe has a way of catching us
Mhm.
that is unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
it's
it can
so
be
true.
so much better. So much
Yes.
better.
It's just about trusting your intuition and
Yeah.
trusting that it will be so much better and not letting your brain get involved when it comes to trusting your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out to somebody.
Yes.
If you need
Exactly.
advice or help, like, there's wisdom in reaching out for help, whether it's a
Absolutely.
coach or a friend or somebody you trust. Like, open that line of communication, because it's also going to open up opportunities for you to see, okay, yes, I can get out of this thing.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that wisdom. And how
Yeah.
can people find you if
Yeah.
they want to hear more of what you have to say?
Yeah. Well, I'm on Instagram. Definitely. I hang out there the most.
Awesome.
Um, at Love Me Lab podcast. It's all underscored.
Awesome.
And the podcast is up. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the fun places. Link is in my bio there at Instagram, so you can find everything in my link in my bio.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It was so great having you here today.
Yeah, it's so great to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too, finally. All right. I'll see you later.
All right, bye.